This is one smooth progression, so I want you to bear with me. I have 80-year-olds online right now using science to have healthier knees and more longevity by going to the park and walking backwards. You want to make sure you have a space that's safe, flat, that you're not going to step on something. You don't have to go barefoot, but I really like going barefoot. I think there's added benefits for that. When you can actually think to push through your big toe, it engages that muscle more that stabilizes your knee. So right now, there's 80-year-olds having success by just walking backwards. And at a bare minimum, this could be done 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off. So 3 sets would be 10 minutes total. 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off, 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off, 2 minutes on. 10 minutes and you just got a knee ability cardio workout by going backwards. But keep in mind, for rehab purposes now, this could be used as initial stage rehab, but bear with me, it's gonna ramp up. This is gonna go all the way to what right now national level sprinters are using. So if you went, you could start to warm up by just walking backwards. You wanna be really pain-free and comfortable with that. And then what you would do, say you have runner's knee from more like jogging style running. Well, now all you have to do is turn that into a jogging style going backwards. So the motion forwards hurts, the motion backwards is proven to help with that, and it actually improves your performance. So I'm gonna break here and get some slow-mos, and what I wanna show you is I'm gonna try to just give you an example of jogging forwards and then jogging backwards and looking at each in slow motion. I want you to pay attention to how when you're going forwards, the more you can handle there, the less pressure you're gonna have on your knee in terms of pain. So if jogging hurts, then building up to jogging backwards puts money in the bank so that jogging forwards will be pain-free, and with more actual strength, it's proven to improve your running times. Let's take a look. In that case, again, 2 minutes on, 2 minutes off for 3 working rounds makes a really good knee ability for jogging workout. But what's interesting is we're going right to the next level. So even if you are trying to be maximally fast, you could still warm up with your walking, then warm up with jogging. Like you could do a set of 2 minutes each as a warm up and then get your way to sprinting. Now, they did a study with 13 to 15-year-old kids. One group just did forward sprinting. The other group just did backward sprinting. At the end of the 8 weeks, the backwards group got faster at running forwards than the forwards group and gained 4 times as much on a standing vertical test, meaning the difference gain of the backwards group was 4 times more than the forwards group. So if you think about it, we're already in life doing so much forward running in our sports and our training, and then our coaches tell us to do more running. We've done so much running. There's nothing wrong with running, but our knees are not strong enough, resulting in pain. And so by going backwards, it's stimulating those muscles. So when you run forwards, your form improves. Because instead of secretly trying to break yourself, slower runners reach in front of themselves, faster runners step under themselves and keep going. And that's why if you look at a jump, you can't just, that's not a vertical jump. The vertical jump adds the knees, and that's what makes you go upward. So that's 13 to 15-year-old kids. Now you look at, as you get older, you can see how that relates. You can see how these exercises come into play, how they make you jump higher, how they make you run faster. And so in this case, you could warm up as I've shown you, and then I'll give you an example of getting into a set. So you can start moving, right? And now you think of it, not just like quick steps like a football player, but you think of it like pushing all out, getting far and bouncy on each set. You think of it like a plyometric. A plyometric is when you are receiving force and then you return it as fast and as hard as you can. So for example, if I just went from here and jumped up onto a box or something, that's not a plyometric. A plyometric would be receiving the force as fast and as strong as you can. So that's what you're thinking of. Very controlled, okay, fast. Boom, 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 boom. We're doing this for our forward sprinting. It's not a race, it's its own drill. And whatever sprint you're trying to get better at, say you're trying to improve at a 40-yard dash, okay, 10 sets of this would make a great workout. Say you're trying to get better at 100, maybe 5 sets of that. So you're kind of mirroring what a normal forward workout would be. You're mirroring it backwards, putting money in the bank to hit the missing links that make you run faster, but this isn't the end. This is all just the foundation that's putting that money in the bank towards healthier knees and towards better speed times, okay? Here's where it gets interesting to get towards really elite speed levels for someone even who maybe genetically is not fast. Imbalance in your body and lack of elasticity, because the fastest guys I've ever worked with, it wasn't from weight training at all. Genetically, they were way more elastic and they were just natural freaks. They'd go fast. Doesn't mean you can't enhance that in the weight room, but if you understand weights, no matter how much you squat and things like this, it's not thousands of pounds of force. But this kind of stuff, that's thousands of pounds of force. So for your sprinting, how do we get those thousands of pounds of force and rebalance? Did you know that if you have an ankle injury, all of a sudden you have way more chance of a hamstring injury? Because every time when you hit the ground, you don't have the elasticity you should. You have to make up for it somewhere. So any imbalance, so here's what we do. We're gonna start with one leg. You're gonna do these for just sets of 5. They're really simple sets. The first thing is just being able to bounce on a leg. You see that? I'm just being able to bounce. It's a very low jump. Being able to bounce. Notice my knee is slightly bent. That's the first level. Now, what happens if we add our arms? It gets us a little higher. That would be the next level. So level 2 is the arms lifting you up. Now level 3, what happens if we use the arms and knee drive? That gets us even higher. More force on that landing. And every time you're still thinking as fast and as hard as you can off the ground. Now, to get even further, and here's where you're gonna see this go directly into your running. To get even further with the force, arms, knee, same knee. Not only is that challenging the hip flexor, which is the biggest muscular difference between elite sprinters and normal humans, is hip flexor. It's now getting you even higher. And what's that gonna do? That's gonna turn into your run. I want you to be able to fully and stably do this with no pain and equal feeling of power on each leg before you go to running. So that's knee ability for running. Remember as well that unilateral plyometrics, meaning something like this, seems like a similar drill, but for speed and for 1 foot jumping, double-legged plyometrics do not transfer anywhere near as well as single-leg plyometrics, but single-leg plyometrics still transfer to your double leg. So that would be your progression, would be warming up. Now I like, 10 to 20 second breaks between each. As you can see, I've been just going. That would turn more into a conditioning workout, which is fine, but for maximal gains, you want full intention on each drill. So it would be more like you're getting in the zone, doing one leg. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it, 10, 20 second break. Refocusing, just like the jumper's knee ability. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you can't do that, you shouldn't be running. So from there, totally getting focused. Now with the arm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, 10 to 20 second break every time. And if any of these, if going up to the next one caused some kind of pain, you would go back down. So you have that next one with the arms. 10 to 20 second break. Now let's do. Now you're using the opposite leg. Then you do the same on the other side, always with the break. And then adding that same leg. So at this point, since this one gets even a little more complicated, we're gonna take a break and look at this slow-mo so you can see exactly what's going on here between the arms, this knee drive, this knee drive. Let's take a look. Keep in mind, you already warmed up from the backward running progression. So once we get into this, about 6 total sets of 5 per side. So 60 contacts total, 30 per side. Creates a really good workout. You could definitely do more. That's a safe amount. Now, if that starts getting easy and you can get into the full drive going forward, let's look at how you can put even more force into it. So by getting a running start into it, now we're adding speed to that force. Now we're talking a lot of force there. And once you're handling that super easily, now you could go to your running. You're more balanced, so you've put money in the jar towards the injury prevention. You're getting better backwards, more money in the jar for injury prevention. You're getting better backwards, which is money in the jar for performance, making yourself scientifically run faster. And you've done it one leg at a time, which we know provides the forces to put money in the jar again towards running faster. So we're now doubling up on bulletproofing and on actually running faster. No one's ever taken this approach, but it's all backed by evidence. Now you could get into something like your actual running. And notice I've been barefoot the whole time. So if you are an actual sprinter, you're wearing track spikes on a track, and I think that's awesome. And anyone of any sport I think could do that and could do build-up sprints, meaning starting at a pace you can handle and then building up to top speed over a distance, meaning I would go much longer. You'd want a nice long space like this where you can build up. If you don't have track spikes, I beg you to go barefoot in grass. And the reason why is if you were to wear, say you were to wear basketball shoes or regular running shoes in the grass, when your foot hits the ground, your toes can't quite flex. Your toes can't quite flex into the grass the way that our body was designed. So now your foot is slipping, and that slipping creates very high chance of tweaking a hip flexor or pulling a hamstring. I've never yet to date, in putting thousands through this kind of training, I've never seen a hip flexor or hamstring injury when barefoot in grass or wearing track spikes. It always happens either going on grass with regular shoes or on some kind of concrete surface where if it's just a little bit off, it's too slippery. So that's no good with your foot slipping and not able to dig in. And the last tip on this is how much you can accelerate. The fastest accelerations I've ever timed were not even track athletes. In fact, you'll find that people like bobsledders who have built their strength in the weight room, they can actually beat world-class track athletes off the line in that first explosion. You could do no practice at all. I've done this with laser time. You could do no practice, jack up your ATG split squat and your seated good morning, and you could absolutely slash your start times. The start itself is more of an expression of power. It's expressing the power that you have. It's very easy by practicing it for whatever your event is, okay? For example, in bobsledders, they have to start upright. Football 40, they have to start down. You have to practice that. Just make sure you practice it either side. And I'm not talking about barefoot and grass, I'm talking about your exact sport. That's very sport specific. Just like moves in basketball is sport specific. You'd practice that in your basketball shoe on a wood floor. This workout's not about acceleration because acceleration is so easy to improve with training alone plus practicing your sport. But top end speed, your hips are flying so fast that this is the last cherry on top. If you want to be really fast, you got to open your body up to that top speed. So I'll try to get another angle from a side view in slow motion, just so you can see how much motion is happening here. I'm not rushing out of the beginning. That's not what it's about. It's about slowly building up to the top speed you can and then cooling down once you can't go any faster. We're stimulating these areas, but doing so barefoot in grass or with an actual track spike is just gonna be a lot safer. And this would be done as the last drill after everything you worked up for. Of course, if you're a track athlete in a real competition, you're not gonna do all that stuff, but we wanna be doing all that stuff to prepare ourselves first, and then just a few top end open ups. I like 3 where you just open up to top speed, never going past if there is any kind of tweak, doing it once a week with those open ups so you'll come back even stronger. But this is a necessary stimulus. If you never open up to top end speed, we're not getting the full stimulus in those hip flexors and hamstrings. We'll take a look now. This is fully written up in the site with all your sets, reps, in order. Remember, the only way to screw up is by doing more than your body is ready for. From the very first drill, you're putting money in the bank. Just do it once a week if you're trying to get faster, because it's putting a lot of force in that you have to recover from, and keep me closely posted on how it's going for you.